Alright bro, before we start talking about writing emails, I want you to understand why email copywriting is the best decision you will ever make. Especially if you are not trying to be broke, stressed, and constantly hunting for the next client. Because here is what most beginners do. They get excited about copywriting, they learn some few things, and the first thing, they want to write a VSL or landing page. I get it, those things look sexy. They look impressive, you feel like a copywriter when you say, yeah, I wrote a full sales page, or yeah, I wrote a VSL. But nobody tells you the downside of that. You write it once, you get paid once, and then you are done. The client disappears and the project ends. And you are right back where you started, looking for the next person, the next deal, and the next opportunity. But bro, email copywriting is totally different. Email is ongoing, email is daily or weekly. Email is tied directly to the revenue. Emails make businesses money constantly. That's why emails get you retainer clients. And the retainer clients are what separates copywriters who are calm and confident from copywriters who are constantly anxious. When you are on a retainer, you are waking up knowing that you are going to get paid this month and next month and probably the months after that. And if you are a real good copywriter for the full year, that mental peace alone, it changes how you show up as a copywriter. So when I say email is the best choice you can ever make, I'm not talking theory. I'm talking survival, leverage, and long-term positioning. Now here is the first mistake most people make, especially when they try to learn email copywriting. They jump straight into writing. They open a Google Doc, they stare at a blank screen, they think about the hooks, they think about subject lines, and they think about clever openings. And by that, they already lost. Because writing only comes after long thinking. And thinking comes from clarity. That's why most email tutorials don't work. They show you what an email looks like, but they don't show you how a copywriter thinks, even before the email exists. So in this video, we are not just writing an email. We are building the mental process you run every single time. But before we talk about email type, research, angles, or anything like that, you need to mentally place yourself in a different place. You are not practicing, you are not trying copywriting, you are not pretending, but you are already a copywriter and you are already hired. Imagine the coach DM you and says, hey bro, I need a promo email tomorrow. They never ask if you are confident. They don't ask about the framework. They don't ask if you watched enough YouTube videos. They just expect you to deliver. That's the mindset you need before you write a single word. Because when you write like a beginner, your email sounds careful. But when you write like a hired copywriter, your email sounds smart, really smart. And your conversion gets better always. So now let's get into the actual process. The first real step, I call it step 1, even though most people skip it, which is deciding the email type. And I want you to slow down here, because this alone fixes a huge percentage of... Bro, every email exists for only one reason. Not to add value, not to nurture, and not to stay consistent. Those are bullshit for real. An email either exists to build belief or move action. If the email is a value email, it is the only job is to shift how the reader thinks. And if the email is a promo email, it's a job to get the reader to do something, whether it's a click, buy, register, or buy. When people mix these two, the email becomes weak. A value email that tries to sell feels pushy. A promo email that tries to educate feels absolutely boring. So before you write anything, you literally tell yourself out loud, this is a value email or this is a promo email. You would be shocked how much clarity it gives you. So let's go deeper into value emails, because most people misunderstood them completely. A value email is not just a lesson, and it's not tutorial, and it's not you flexing some knowledge. A value email changes belief. It makes the reader believe a problem is more serious than they thought, or a solution is simpler than they imagined, or an opportunity exists where they didn't even see one before. That's value, not information, but perspective. Now, promo emails fail for the opposite reason. People think promo emails need to be aggressive. They don't. A good promo email feels like the natural first step after belief is already built. If belief is not there, the CTA won't save you. So now we get into the most important part of this entire process, which is the research. And I need you to be very clear here, because this when almost everyone lies to themselves. If you are writing for an imaginary coach, bro, you are not doing real work. Your brain knows it's fake. When you write for fake brands, you stay generic, you stay in the safe zone. But when you write for a real coach, someone with a real content and with real value, your brain locks in. Suddenly, you are not asking, what should I write? But you are asking, what would actually help this business make more money? That question changes everything for it. Now, once you choose a real coach or a brand, you don't think yet, but you start collecting. You open their Instagram, you read caption, you watch videos, and you start skimming some comments, and you look at the offers they are giving. You don't fix, you don't rewrite. You just collect them, because patterns show up when data is messy. Now, when ChatGPT becomes super powerful or useless, depending on how you use it. Bro, ChatGPT is not here to replace you. It's here to speed up pattern recognition. You paste the raw data and you ask questions like, what pain points keep repeating? What language does this audience already use? What angles are underutilized? And what beliefs being reinforced? Bro, I hope you know that. Now you are not guessing anymore. You have a clear map. But if you try to do all this manually, you would sit there for hours, second guessing yourself. With ChatGPT, you compress thinking time. That absolutely doesn't make you lazy. That makes you efficient. So now you choose one angle, not 5 ideas, not multiple hooks. Because clarity, belief, cleverness. An angle is simply the lens you are using to talk about the problem. Is it a mistake? Is it an opportunity? Is it a mechanism? Is it a story? Is it a threat? You pick only one, and every line in the email supports this angle. Because frameworks like BAS or IDA are not evil, they are just training wheels. If you only rely on them, your writing becomes mechanical. Real emails feels like thoughts unfolding mentally. Line leads to line. Idea leads to idea. That's how humans think. So now comes the writing part. And this is where discipline actually matters. Bro, don't you ever edit while writing. You dump everything in your head into the page. You explain, you repeat, you explore ideas from different angles. Editing comes later. Because if you edit too early, you kill momentum. Trust me, I have seen copywriters sit for hours trying to be perfect. But they never finish that. Meanwhile, someone else writes a messy email and edit it and send it, and he gets the result. Because momentum beats perfection every single time. So now this is where most people completely misunderstood what editing actually is. They think editing means fixing grammar, making sentences sound smart, or adding fancy words, or cutting things short. Bro, that's not real editing. But the real editing is all about flow. Flow means when someone finishes reading one line, they automatically want to read the next line without consciously deciding it. If the reader ever stops and thinks, why am I reading this? You already lost them. So when you edit, you are not asking, does this sound good? But you must be asking, does this make the next line irresistible? That's the only question that matters. So it is how you actually do it in practice. You finish your messy first draft. You don't touch it for a few minutes. Then you come back and read it loud. It must be loud. So the moment you feel resistance, the moment your voice slows down, the moment something feels forced, that's where the flow breaks. And when flow breaks, conversions die. So the first thing you remove is explaining too much. Bro, beginners love explaining. They wanna prove they know what they are talking about. They want to sound credible and they wanna show intelligence. But explanation kills curiosity. Your job in an email is not to explain everything. Your job is to create movement. You hint about it. You let the reader connect the dots. Bro, humans trust conclusions. They reach out themselves. Far more conclusions you made for them. So every line should do one of these three things. Create curiosity, increase tension, move toward the action. If a line doesn't do one of those, it doesn't belong. This is why long emails still work. Length is not the problem, because a long email with momentum feels short. And a short email without momentum feels boring and long as fuck. And another mistake people make is trying to sound too clean. They remove repetition, they remove informal phrasing, they remove personality. Bro, that shit looks like AI. But a real human would have those things. And that's a big mistake. Because people don't read emails for perfection. They read emails for connection. Real humans repeat themselves when something matters. Real humans rephrase ideas to make sure they land. So repetition is not a flaw. It's a reinforcement. So yeah, I hope you can understand any of those things so you can actually get better at writing copy. So yeah, this is the end of the video. See you in the next video.